Warning: the following contains spoilers for The Boys Season 1. What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man, from E-Man's Movie Reviews. With The Boys Season 2 just around the corner on Amazon Prime, I thought it would be helpful to give you a more in-depth recap to jog your memory of all the things that happened in Season 1. I'll go by each episode, that way you won't miss out on the important details that probably get glossed over or missed in other recap videos. Without further ado, let's begin. Huey Campbell is just a mild-mannered tech nerd who's too shy to ask for a raise and has an extroverted girlfriend, Robin, that perfectly complements his introverted lifestyle. That is, until a speedster superhero, A-Train, runs completely through her, exploding her body and leaving only her arms in Huey's hands. We learn that superheroes in this world are treated more like a commercial business where they have movies, products, and even do press tours. There are about 200 heroes in this world, and people consider themselves lucky to be born super-abled with abilities. One of those lucky people is Annie January, who auditions to become the cream of the crop of superheroes to join the Seven. With a great audition, Annie, who's now Starlight, quickly learns that there's a much darker side to the superhero business, as she's sexually accosted by The Deep, a water-based superhero who ironically Annie used to look up to. After Robin's death, Vought, the company that runs the superheroes, tried to have Huey sign an NDA with a lot of money in exchange for his silence on the matter. After refusing to sign, Huey is later met by a shady character named Billy Butcher, who pretends to be an FBI agent looking to help Huey out. Butcher shares the ugly truth about superheroes to Huey's disbelief, but after some convincing, Huey agrees to work with Butcher. Unfortunately, Huey's attempt to plant the bug in the Seven's tower is foiled by the creepy stalker superhero, Translucent. The invisible hero tries to beat up and interrogate Huey, but Billy crashes through to help save the day. Billy and Huey manage to take out the superhero and stuff him in Billy's truck to figure out how to dispose of the body. Meanwhile, Vaught's lead executive, Madeline Stillwell, is being blackmailed by the mayor of Baltimore, who claims to know about Compound V. Later, after some negotiation takes place, Homelander, the top superhero, takes down the mayor's plane by using his heat vision. In episode 2, Huey and Billy meet up with Billy's friend Frenchie in hopes that Frenchie will be able to help get rid of Translucent's body. Only problem is that Translucent isn't actually dead, but he's really hard to kill because of his diamond-hard skin. Well, after many failed attempts, Huey just ended up blowing up Translucent. Across the way, Annie starts to learn the PR nightmare that comes along with being part of the Seven. Right down the hall, we get introduced to Homelander's strange relationship with Stillwell, where we can't tell if he loves her romantically or if he just sees her as a mother. However, Homelander's desire to be more than just a superhero figure is becoming very clear. Madeline successfully blackmails the Oklahoma senator into getting a bill passed into Congress to have the superheroes actually be a part of the U.S. military. Meanwhile, Billy Butcher tries to get some assistance from his old contact Susan in the CIA that will come into play later on. In episode 3, Annie's PR nightmare gets a lot of spin into a huge positive boost for her career and as a defender of women. As we visit Homelander, he continues to show his displeasure with Madeline in regards to being just a prop for the superheroes. Meanwhile, Billy visits his old friend Mother's Milk in an attempt to bring the old team back together. After getting some information from Translucent, Huey and Mother's Milk con their way into Popclaw's apartment. Popclaw is another superhero who just so happens to be A-Train's girlfriend. They bug her place in order to get camera surveillance. We then learn that A-Train has actually been juicing up on the drug Compound V. The drugs give superheroes a boost in their powers, and it was clearly what A-Train was using when he killed Huey's girlfriend, Robin. As the team tries to get a sample of Compound V during A-Train's race, Huey and Annie really start to connect more. The team realizes that Popclaw actually has some of the Compound V, and through their surveillance, they witness Popclaw kill her own landlord. This gives Billy the idea to blackmail her because, as he says, one of the greatest weaknesses of the heroes is their reputation. Remember this for later. Billy then blackmails Popclaw to get more information about Compound V. Well, episode 3 ends with the Deep using his fish friends to find the body of Translucent, and Homelander gets the message that the Seven are now being targeted. As we head into episode 4, we see Billy Butcher tries again to get some support from the CIA by revealing what he knows about Compound V, but the CIA can't really do anything without some hard evidence. It's in this episode that we also start to get some glimpses of the mystery behind Billy and his wife Rebecca. We cut over to the Deep as he's doing a counseling session where he's starting to show more of his insecurities. He talked about how his greatest power is to talk to fish, and he quips, how often does someone need to be saved by a school of salmon, and the therapist mentions a Carnival cruise ship that was saved by the Deep. But whatever, he's a jerk, so screw his feelings. I want you to remember this for later because I've actually got a theory that I think will add some serious drama to The Boys in Season 2. But that's for another video. Moving along, we see that Huey and Annie are spending more time together, and Huey ends up bugging her phone after being pressured by Billy to do so. Well, thanks to the info from Popclaw, the rest of the team tracks down a potential drug smuggler only to find a young Asian girl being held captive by the smugglers. As they set her free, she goes bananas on the smugglers and literally rips them to pieces. After the young girl goes to a nail salon and slaughters the people there, Billy and the gang visit the nail salon and connect the fact that the young girl is an illegal immigrant that was smuggled into the country. They manage to track her down to the train station where A-Train tries to kill her. Despite all those headshots, the young girl seemed perfectly fine. In the more climactic point in the episode, there's a hijacked plane happening over international waters. As a political move, Homelander and Maeve go out to stop the hijackers. However, as things go wrong, the pilots are killed and all the passengers are doomed to die. Homelander made it very clear that he was leaving everyone to die, while Maeve was still trying to have a change of heart and at least save one little girl. Homelander rejected all of that and showed his true colors to the rest of the passengers as he let them all fall to their death. In episode 5, we kick off the episode with A-Train killing his girlfriend Popclaw after she reveals that she did indeed give up A-Train's secret to some random guys. However, while watching his hidden nanny cam video of himself and Popclaw, A-Train happened to see the video of Popclaw killing her landlord. He also was able to ID Frenchie. Black Noir, the other superhero within the Seven, starts going to all of Frenchie's known locations. After tracking Frenchie down in an alley, Black Noir is about to attack Frenchie. That is, until Black Noir is attacked by the young Asian girl. Unfortunately, she gets sliced up in the battle and she immediately starts to bleed out, until she starts healing up like Wolverine from the X-Men. Moving over, we see Huey is going to a religious convention with Annie, except Billy gives Huey the mission to blackmail the main speaker of the event, Ezekiel. This is the same hero who's got his own dark secret in the closet that we saw in episode 1. Thanks to the meeting with Ezekiel, the team now knows that some of the Compound V gets sent to certain hospitals. The team goes to investigate and discovers that babies are given IVs full of Compound V, meaning that the supers in this world are really just a bunch of lab rats and were never actually born with powers. Heading into episode 6, after Annie's breakout speech at the Believe Expo, her honesty is starting to give her confidence and a boost in popularity. Because of her confession of her sexual assault, as a way to get ahead of the potential PR nightmare, the Deep was sent on sabbatical to Ohio. Frenchie, who's now desperate to find a way to communicate with the young Asian girl, he talks Mother's Milk into convincing the former TV child superstar Mesmer to help them communicate with her. Mesmer has the ability to read people's thoughts who he ends up physically touching. Mother's Milk pulls some strings and gets Mesmer's estranged daughter to meet with him. Mesmer learns that the young Asian girl and her brother were forced into becoming child soldiers. We also learn that her name is actually Kamiko. Turns out that Kamiko was involved with some sort of terrorist organization, and the team concludes that the master plan is to create more supervillains. The Compound V is being given to terrorists to create supervillains, which then will create even more of a need for superheroes to join the military with Homelander as their lead. Billy finally has a heart-to-heart with Huey and confesses that Homelander raped his wife, Rebecca. And this deep dark secret is what has been fueling Billy's hatred for 8 long years. Rebecca has since been presumed dead, and Billy is under the impression that Homelander either killed her or she killed herself. Speaking of which, Homelander is going through some childhood memories. During a video shoot, he freaks out when he sees the same childhood blanket that he had when he was just a young child. The blanket apparently being the only real thing attached to his childhood, seeing as though he doesn't really have or know who his real parents are. Billy goes back to the CIA, this time with more evidence in exchange for protection for his team. Mesmer, feeling kinda snitchy today, contacted A-Train and he gave up the team to Homelander. So now Homelander has all their images in his possession. With episode 7, we get a flashback to 8 years prior to dig a little bit deeper into the mystery of what happened with Rebecca and Billy. We also see Billy and Homelander meeting for the very first time. Becca was in charge of Homelander's PR campaign. Homelander, however, starts inquiring about Becca because he doesn't actually know what happened to her 8 years ago. So he continues his investigation as he visits Dr. Vogelbaum, the man who ran the experiments on Homelander as a baby. Turns out that Becca was pregnant with Homelander's child. Dr. Vogelbaum told Homelander that Becca and the baby both died. In another flashback, we also see Mallory for the first time. Mallory was the agent who showed Butcher the video of Becca and Homelander going into a room and being in there for about 3 hours. Right after, Becca just went missing. Back to the present, the Deep is coming to terms of being benched in Ohio. As he tries to get adjusted, he gets a real quick reality check as he deals with his own issues of consent and sexual assault. On the other side of the country, with all the team's images now in hand, Homelander is now remembering his encounters with Billy. Homelander brings the 7 together to brief them on all the actions of Billy's team. That leads to the 7 starting their own investigation. A-Train threatens to harm Huey's dad, but Huey makes a deal to give him more Compound V, only to distract him so that Kimiko could sneak behind him and break A-Train's leg. The team figures out that Mesmer sold them out, so Billy goes to get rid of Mesmer permanently. Thankfully, Billy's connections to the CIA have come through and they're going to help the team and their families get off the radar to protect them from the 7. In exchange for their protection, Billy had to give up the Compound V, but unfortunately he can't get the CIA to go after Homelander. So now the CIA has gone after Vought to shut them down and prevent them from having the heroes join the United States military. However, that is coming to a halt as video arises of a terrorist group with superpowers beginning its attacks. As we head into the final episode, Episode 8, we find Homelander becomes a one-man wrecking crew as he makes quick work of the terrorist organization. So now Vought is trying to spin this entire situation. They're saying that the terrorists have counterfeited the formula in some mysterious way. Thanks to these terrorists, the CIA can't do anything and Vought is untouchable now. Because of this, the team are now considered fugitives from the law without the CIA's protection. As a result, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Kimiko are all captured by some Black Ops unit. Huey and Billy are now on their own. Huey tries one more time to get Annie's help so they can put a stop to Vought. Huey purposely lets himself get caught so that Frenchie can use the retainer in Huey's mouth to break themselves out. During the breakout, the team is about to get recaptured until Annie comes in to save their butts. Just as they're making their escape, A-Train shows up to confront them. As they begin to face off, A-Train suffers a heart attack. This was primarily due to the fact that Compound V was already enlarging his heart and causing other health side effects. Huey starts doing CPR, but Annie stops him so she could take over and calls for help. Over in Ohio, the Deep finds out the hard truth that he's going to be stuck there permanently, despite the fact that the 7 are going to have a huge promotion with the military deal going through. So now he's just feeling a little emo about it. We finally get to meet Mallory in the present, and she gives Billy the information about Madeline and Homelander's weird relationship. Meanwhile, Mr. Edgar finally is made known to us, and he offers Madeline a promotion thanks to the military bill going through. Homelander, however, has confessed to stealing the Compound V and giving it to the terrorists. After being a 1-minute man with Madeline, Homelander asks Madeline to promise him no more lies, no more secrets, and then she goes on to lie and say that his baby with Becca was a miscarriage, which is not the story that Dr. Vogelbaum told Homelander. And it was at this point that Madeline had messed up. When she goes home, she finds Billy sitting there already waiting for her. Billy straps a bomb to Madeline as insurance against Homelander. Homelander confesses that he learned the real truth about Becca and the baby from Vogelbaum. Then he uses his heat vision to kill Madeline, removing any leverage Billy may have had left. Billy says screw it and tries to blow himself up. However, Billy wakes up to find out that not only did Homelander save him from the explosion, but Homelander brought him to a home where Becca and a young child are alive and well. Homelander's child. Well, that's it. That's your recap of all 8 episodes of The Boys Season 1. Are you excited for Season 2? Let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to seeing in the next season. If you enjoyed this recap, be sure to check out my other theory and top questions video. I've got one theory specifically about Season 1 that may really impact Season 2 in a powerful way if it ends up happening. Plus, there are a number of questions that I'm really hoping Season 2 is going to answer. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel and stay tuned so you can join me on this journey as I will be doing reaction videos for Season 2 of The Boys after every episode. Anyway, I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.